My name is Mason, and this is your January 2025 Tucson real estate market update. Happy New Year, and now that 2025 is here, it's time to look back on not only the last month of real estate, but also 2024 as a whole. There was a lot that happened from beginning to end, and we came to a pretty slow grind once the winter season set in. Couple that with the interest rates, the economy, and an election year, and it made for the last two quarters, quarter three and quarter four. It made for two interesting quarters, but I was shocked to see the numbers that came out of December. Now that month is closed and I can see all the data, it's pretty interesting to see where we're headed, and I'm excited to see what we're going to see in the surge that we always get when the spring market comes. My name is Mason Martinez. I'm a real estate agent here in Tucson, Arizona. I live in the community of Vail, but I do real estate all over Pima County. I've gone all the way up to Oro Valley, San Manuel, Oracle, and as far south as Rio Rico, Tubac, Benson. I go all over southern Arizona, but I specifically concentrate on the Tucson footprint as well as the surrounding areas. But today we're going to look at Tucson, Arizona, and there's about 30 zip codes. So if your zip code starts in 857XX, this pertains to you. I want to touch on just a few key points before we get into the numbers of things. And I went back to 2011 because since then, Tucson has never closed out a year with home values going down or staying steady. We have continuously seen home values go up year over year from 2011 to today. Now, the total percent of what home values have increased to is 177% up from 2011. I want to be clear, this is for single family homes only. I have not included townhomes, condos, manufactured homes, or raw land. This is only for single family homes in Tucson. That's a pretty big increase, almost 200% up over the last 2 decades. The next takeaway that I saw was that from December of 23 to December of 24, there were a total of 54 new listings and 35 new homes that went pending. So that shows me that the average consumer, or really the consumers, have accepted this as the norm. They are done hiding behind their doors, waiting for the day of the market to crash, waiting for rates to come down to 5, 6, 4, 3, 2%. Those days are not going to happen. The days of where we're at now, current day, 6.5 to 7%, that is the norm. And that is not necessarily just my opinion. Those are the opinions and speculations of people who do this full time and look at the data and look at the market and project as to what this next year is going to hold for us. Again, there's nothing really on the horizon, at least that we can see, that's going to change any of that. So 2025, expect where we're at now to be the norm for the next at least 3, 4, 5, 6 months to continue even throughout all of 2025. But again, the fact that there's more sales and more listings from this December to last shows me that there was a bump in confidence even with the holiday season, because normally things slow down then. Again, people are stepping out from behind their doors and getting back into the market to both buy and sell. In this past month, if you had a home from $300,000 to $400,000 that you were either purchasing, shopping for, or selling, you are in the most saturated price point market. There were almost 100 more homes in that price point than there were any other price points. So you're going to see the most competition with buyers and activity. But if you're a seller, you're also amongst some of the most saturated price points out there. So I'd be curious if you shopped or had any experience anywhere from 3 to 400,000. Let me know if you had a bidding war or maybe lost out on a home, because there were significant amount of homes in that $100,000 range. On that same note, if you had a home $200,000 or less, those typically flew off the shelf. Now, most of those, when it comes to single family homes, are going to be fixer-uppers. But even then, you have a lot of investors out there that are buying homes that need rehab or probate homes. But if it's a good to go home, which is probably rare because Tucson has seen so much appreciation, but if you have a home $200,000 or less, you can expect to do very well. Now, one of the areas that had the most struggle is going to be homes from 1.2 million to 1.4 million. And that's because they had so much inventory. And over the last few months, they have sat with 9.3 months of inventory. Now, there's another statistic of months of inventory that I'll explain later. But in short, what that means is there's 9 months worth of homes in that one price point. So a spread of only 200,000 and only 3 homes, I believe, in that price point sold in December. Another interesting note that I pulled from the data from December and really the past few months are the homes listed from 1.2 million to 1.4 million. And whether you're buying or selling, they have the most inventory by far when it comes to homes available. Now, later on in the video, I'll explain months of inventory, but that price point, 1.2 to 1.4, has the most inventory by far. They have 9.3 months, almost 9.5 months of inventory just sitting there on the market. And I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, only 3 homes sold last month in that price point. For me, if I were in that price point or even in the 300 to 400,000, presentation and exposure becomes so important. What I mean by exposure is how many eyeballs are you getting on your home, right? What is setting you apart from the 100 other homes listed similar to yours in that same price point? Now, sure, it's going to vary by location, and we all know location means everything, but you got to put in a good amount of effort to make sure that your home is noticed and not just falling behind the plenty others in that pool of homes. Now, lastly, before I get into the numbers of this past month, what does this mean for buyers and sellers? Now, I'm going to give you a spoiler here, but for buyers, it means that there's going to be some competition going into this spring and late winter market. Now, like clockwork every year, you can look at the numbers, which I do every single month. Like clockwork, when we start hitting February, March, April, May, we see a huge spike in sales. That means sellers, this becomes a seller's market. Buyers, you're going to be up against some competition. If you're a buyer, make sure you have all your ducks in a row. Make sure you're keeping an eye out for the neighborhoods you want and the type of home you want, and make sure that you're very aggressive with your negotiations. Again, we're coming into, this is the late winter market, maybe even midwinter market before we get into spring. But make sure you're taking advantage of the current market. There's a lot of incentives that sellers are giving to buyers, concessions, upgrades, or inspections and repairs. So make sure you're taking advantage of this market, because that might disappear a little bit once we hit the warmer months come springtime. Now, I would not wait for that time and expect anything major to change. Simply put, there's going to be more competition because there always are more sales come spring. There's going to be more competition. So if you're a buyer, try to jump on something now and get a lot more money in your pocket. Or maybe you do wait it out. Try to hope for some more inventory because there's not a ton right now on the market. And maybe find a better home that fits your needs. But if you're looking for a home now, definitely execute. If it's in your cards, pull the trigger and jump on a home before the crazy rush to the spring market begins. Now, if you're a seller, it's still kind of slow right now. And again, I'm going to repeat this a bunch of times probably. Presentation means everything. What are you doing to set apart your home in this slow market? You're going to hear more of why it's slow when I get into the numbers, but make sure you're putting your best foot forward with photography, advertising, video, having your agent push out your listing, your home to anyone and everyone. Open houses, although rarely work when it comes to selling the actual home, open houses are important right now because you're having a lot of the public, a lot of consumers walk into these homes without an agent saying, hey, I don't know any agents who can help me with this home. So again, it's rare, but it does happen. So open houses are important. It just allows more eyeballs and more feet through your door to help sell your home quicker. So getting into the numbers for the month of December, Tucson saw 533 total home sales. This was up almost 15% from the same time last year till this year. That is huge. To go up 15% in sales shows that a lot of people are stepping back into the market. They've accepted this as the normal way of life when it comes to rates in the economy, and they're buying with confidence now. The average sale price is up 5.8% from the same time last year till this year. Again, this is for single family homes only. The average price point for December was $477,000. The median price point came in at $375,000. This is up as well, 4.5%. The average days on market, and this is where we've seen a slow in the market, even though by every other measure, the market has improved. Home values, home appreciation, price per square foot, the amount of money sellers are getting. But this one area, how long homes are sitting on the market, has increased, which is a negative. So homes on average took 48 days to sell. This is 11 days slower from the same time last year till this year. Your median days on market also showed a slowing by 9 days, is at 30 days, median days on market. Now, days on market is not when you close. Days on market is from the day you go live on the market to the day you accept an offer and go under contract. The average price per square foot for single family homes in Tucson was up 3.9%. This came in at $240 a square foot. And again, this is an increase from last December to this December. This next one is interesting. It's the percent of list price received. It means how much of the list price, of the sale price, is the seller getting in their pocket from what they listed at to what they close at. And on average, the seller closed at 2% less than what they listed for. So that means on a $500,000 home, on average, sellers giving up about $10,000. Next is the months of supply. So for all the homes here listed in Tucson, there are 3.65 months of inventory. That means if no more homes hit the market today, and today being January 7th, it would take 3.6 months for the inventory to reach zero. So anything under 4 months, I would call it a seller's market because there's not a lot to pick from. A balanced market would be anywhere around 5 to 6 months. Anything above that would become a buyer's market. Now, this next one is interesting. This is the average price drop, or the average amount that a home has reduced its price after so many days. The average price drop in December was 5.7%, and it took about 16 days, so let's call it 2 to 3 weeks, for a homeowner to say, something's not working, let's drop the price. Of the 533 sales in December, 214 of those, so almost half, were reduced in the month of December. Now, because it's a slower market, this is not uncommon. You got to do something to keep your home fresh, and everyone has different circumstances. I never want a home to become a race to the bottom. How fast can we drop the price? How fast can we drop the price? As long as you put your best foot forward when it comes to doing comps, staging the home, photographing the home, doing videos, the price should really be the last thing you want to drop. Now, I want to share a little nugget with you, some insight. You can ask 100 different realtors to comp a home, to evaluate a home, and you're going to get 100 different answers. I will tell you, there's a very specific way to comp a home, and it's in line with how appraisers are trained and certified to comp and evaluate homes. And that's because they give those reports not only directly to the consumer, but directly to the bank. The best way someone can comp a home is to align it as best they can with how an appraiser is going to approach that home. This is a recent story of mine. We wrote an offer on a home. We ended up canceling for different reasons, but when I went to go comp the home, I was about $100,000 off from what I could comp and see to where it was listed at. And when I reached out to the agent and asked, hey, can you maybe send me the properties that you utilize to comp? The response was, and I'm paraphrasing here, there's really no homes like it. This is our best price we can give you. Now, that wasn't really too pleasant to hear because there were a couple homes, although not a direct comp, but it got me in the ballpark, a pretty close ballpark. And I got to be honest, we were way off on price. Fortunately, we did get the price that we wanted for it. But that's not really the response you want to hear because there will always be comparables. You just have to know how to comp a home, and it's not always a cookie cutter way. Last but not least are the zip codes and how they performed in Tucson over the last month. Now, always what I start with is the amount of total sales for the month of December. Coming in at first place is 85710 on the east side at 37 total sales. Second place was 85718 up in the Foothills at 36 total sales. And again, coming back to the east side, 85747 with 32 total sales. Next is the highest median price point for zip codes here in town. 85718 came in first at $815,000. 85755 over in Oro Valley came in at $700,000 even. And 85750, kind of in the northeast, came in at $687,000. Now, on the opposite end of that measure is going to be the most affordable zip codes. The lowest median price point for December was 85714 at $175,000. 85736 came in at $259,000. And 85713 came in at $265,000. Lastly, we have the zip codes where homes sat the longest. Again, this is just an overall picture. This is not gonna apply to everyone. I know homes sell quicker and longer than this, but on average, the slowest days on market were in 85757, about 100 days on market. I couldn't imagine sitting that long on the market. I know that's what happens, but Sellers, my heart goes out to you. I know that's a long time. In third place was 85755 at 63 days on market. And coming in at third, which kind of shocked me, is 85748 at 61 days on market. Now, that one shocked me because 85748, highly desirable, lots of turnover in that zip code, a lot of families, a lot of military there. Normally, that's a pretty quick moving area, so I was shocked to see that come in third place at 61 days on market. If you've made it this far, I want to give you my last little opinion on what I'm seeing. It's been a pretty dismal quarter four. Even quarter three was pretty slow. Quarter four with the holidays and the election and everything was slow. And a lot of realtors have left the industry because of this. It's just been slow. Now, homes sell every single day, so there's always activity. But what I'm shocked to see and pleasantly surprised to see is the surge that came in December. I expected to see a fairly dead market. I've seen everything but that. Home values increased 5.8%, almost 6% on average. The amount of sales is up almost 15%. That is some very strong headwind to go into the new year, into quarter one with. So my prediction, again, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, in a week, 2 months, 10 months, who knows what. But my prediction is going to be a very strong spring market. Consumers have accepted this now as the norm. This is where the market is. This is where rates are. This is what homes cost. This is Tucson. Tucson has been very resilient. Tucson has always gone up over the last two and a half decades in home value. Nothing is going to change. This is a big, small city. We have nothing on the horizon that's going to cause Tucson to collapse in on itself or become this booming giant city. It's going to be a slow and steady climb like it has been over the last 20, 30 years. And we're going to see good appreciation in the homes in Pima County. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next month.